All right, here we are. We're back once again. We're open and we are recording. And this time we're actually recording. I came on and played yesterday and I forgot to hit the record button. I got distracted at the moment of the time of recording and I forgot. And I did so many wonderful, amazing things. What sort of amazing things did I do? I created dirt. Well, actually, I collected it. How are we doing here on time? Looks like it's an early part of the day, so let's go see what I did. The temple is still a very dangerous area because it's jungle and it's. Yeah, make sure I got my bed with me. Very important to surviving the jungle is being able to sleep before the nasties come out. But there's always creepers. There's skeletons and zombies hanging out in the shadows. So I will go through a little talk about what I did, show off a little bit. I'm still really thinking about what I want to do, how I want to make this look. So here we are. I should have torches someplace. There they are. There we are. See, I can't even walk in a straight line, so I should probably give me some more torches here just because I can't seem to follow my own path. Okay, so what I did is I went through and I did two things. I basically took down trees that were the small one block high jungle trees that are all on here. I left the stump. And I didn't. I just took away the branches. And the other thing is that I did is I took down the oak trees that were in the path. I've left the jungle trees, but I've taken down the oak trees. So this is the start to clear up the pathway. So once I start figuring things out, I've also excavated the temple. I worked on it and helped to clear the dirt away. I cleared it down to this level. I found the door back here. The door is on the back side of the temple. I then went through the hill, all the hill that was up here, and I tiered it back. I cleared it back and I tiered it back. I left the trees here because I've got some ideas of things I want to do with the trees. But this is where I'm at so far. This is where I think my pizza's here. Let's get inside in case my pizza's here. Um, so it's safe. So let me go. I'm going to pause this and let me go. Let me go see if that's my pizza. The pizza has arrived, but I'm not really hungry at the moment. I'm kind of tired, home from work, and so that just kind of, it screws with the appetite. Now there goes the sun. Look how fast it's moving. Look how fast it's setting up there. It's just like This is just like in the horror movies. It's like, okay, well, we have to fight the horrible thing before night falls, and then the sun just goes plummeting down out of the sky, and the dark clouds go rolling overhead. And there's almost like this rumbling of thunder as it just sinks into the earth, and night comes to claim the land, and the evil darkness, usually a vampire, comes crawling on out of its hole to devastate and hound our poor heroes. Well, the jungle does lend itself to a very fulchy setup, and we are quite swarming with zombies, of course. Zombies, skeletons, and creepers. Even with the daylight out, if they've managed to spawn beforehand, they'll be hanging out in the shadows, and that's one of the reasons I kind of went through and cleared out some of the underbrush to a certain degree. But what I'm looking at is that this is a hill, and then the hill comes back down here into flat land. And I've been thinking about this. The great problem, disappointment that I have with my temple is that the door is facing away from the water. This is the front entrance. This is the entrance, let's put it this way. I threw some doors on here just for, privacy. I haven't put anything else up here. But this is the front and this is the back side of the temple. And then the back side of the temple goes off that way. And I've cleared out some land around here and I've cleared out land around here. I did fill in the crevice that was here, which went down to the very bottom of the temple. I mean, this is still pretty high, so if one was to come out here, be down. So this is kind of a swooping up. But in truth, what we're looking at here is that this really, if this is a temple, this is actually a temple. And I have my doubt about it. I think temple is just what they called it, but I don't really think of this as a temple. It's not a temple because it lacks the most important thing of all temples. Here, let's take a look at this. I have taken nothing away. I have opened up the secret area. Come here. Come here. I have opened up the secret area and went down there and I got my little bit of treasure. It was some gold, some iron, some zombie flesh, and a saddle. Not much. I've left the rest of the redstone components down there. So here it is. This is the ground floor. Now tell me if, before I answer this question, if you can let me know what's missing. Here's the top floor of this supposed temple. All right, a little splashback there, but nothing else really. There's no holes in the ceiling. It's a solid ceiling. And it's a raised ceiling. Okay. And let's go downstairs into the lower levels. There's our redstone controls. And, then you come through here. And you come in here, and then there's your miner treasure right here. But what's missing? What is not in here? What is this? I mean, if you really think about it, what is it? This isn't a temple. You know why it's not a temple? A temple is dedicated to some type of higher being, some type of extraordinary being, like a god or a kami, a great spirit. And there's usually an altar. There is something here to house or venerate the spirit in question that the temple is dedicated to. There is no little altar, no little representation of the spirit. There's none of it here. It's just open rooms. They might say, well, this is it right here, but it doesn't stand out. It's made out of this exact same stuff as the rest of the building. So this is pretty much more of an affectation to keep you from walking down and falling to your death. That's pretty much what that is. That's all it is. And you come down here, and then here you go once again. You come around. You've got a window that looks out. And then, and then you've got stairs that go down. Lever section over here. And then you have these little alcoves. These little alcoves right in here. Little under spots there that really serve no purpose. Upper spots here that serve no purpose. And then, just little channels for all the redstone in order to work the booby traps leading to the treasure. These are more likely vaults or repositories. But I mean, the why behind them, and of course, then there's this mechanism, the puzzle mechanism, that then takes you down into here, and right here, which I've taken it, is where the other chest is, and then the chest has a little bit of treasure. And then that's it. There's your sticky piston, and there's another sticky piston in here someplace as well. There's your other sticky piston right there. But that's it. That's all there is. So I think temple is sort of the wrong description, unless the whole building itself is the altar. I mean, let's get some sleep here. Let's bypass the rest of the night. We'll leave the bed up here for now. Okay, let's listen. Ow. Okay, this is why I try to take care of all the shaded areas. I don't even know where the hell that guy's at. He was just over there someplace. I think. Probably up there in the bushes or something. All right, but let's see if we can take a look at this. Get my sword out, get my shield up, because I think this is going to be a sword and shield event. Yeah, we're going to have to deal with him for a moment. There he is. Damn, you took for... Oh, I have Ow, ow, quick, get around, get around, get around, eat some food. Quick, get me around. Ow. 2 skeletons. Ow. And I didn't get a lot of bows out of them. That was very disappointing. Look at that. I got 4 arrows in me. That hurts. Cow. Got a couple cows around here. I'm going to have to harvest them. But what we really want to watch out for is the creepers. I'm staying out here. There's the other cow up there, I think. Okay. I knew my iron sword was going to wear out, so. So here it is. Look at it right there. There, if there's going to be a sacrificial part, you know, some sort of sacrificial or veneration aspect, it would be up there. You see this? It'd be up here. So, but the question is like, how does one ascend up to the roof in order to do this? Because I mean that is a natural stairwell. So this stepwell. So this naturally says you're to step up and go inside. But if you're to do any veneration, if you're to do any sacrifices, that is the location that it would happen, up here on the roof. I mean, that is a lot of what it looks like. I mean, why else would you have a dais-like configuration up here on the roof? Now let's look at the side of the roof here. I mean, once again, you've got these slots in the roof. Pardon me. And you got them over here, and you got them on all 4 facings. Now you got a little overhang there for the window. So you got windows in here, so you're obviously meant to look out. It's not meant to be enclosed. It's meant to have some functionality in there. You've got these taller towers here, these minarets. And then you got the huge base, and the base is, of course, where you go down into the this is the basement part of the temple, right down in here. All this down in here. All this is the basement. So this technically is sub level. So the ground could be all up at this level right here, except for you got this step right here, and you're going to want this step. So technically speaking, this is designed, this is the ground, and you walk and you come up. And then you go inside, and that's about it. So what are we looking at here? What are we thinking about here? So the temple is one of 2 things. It's either supposed to be hidden away, and they are in the jungle. If they're supposed to be secretive little places of meditation, perhaps. That's what they are. They got like little alcoves for people to like meditate in, or there's sepulchres. There's sepulchres where you're supposed to have like the dead. We're going back inside. Come on, go back a little bit more. Thank you. So these are little sepulchres. This is where you place the dead, right here. And then if you think about the catacombs, and if they have just their bones, you put their bones right up in here. You got the mummies, the mummified or the desiccated corpses, and you got the little bone sections up in here. And then you come around here, and of course, this is all kind of closed off, which is a shame because that there is a full open section right over there, but it's been displaced because of the redstone setup. These come out, this comes out, but the wall here blocks that off. So, and then you got this over here. You got a raised one here instead of lower, and that's because this has to offset for the redstone. But overall, you could still have a core, an interred ancestor here, basically, staged up inside here. This is where they would be at. So, and of course, here you could have them laid out. If you think about the the catacombs of Paris, you would have some laid out here, some laid out here. I don't know what we would do with that part over there. That part's kind of lost, unless you took this brick right out here, this block right here. So the rest of them kind of like run an sort of an understructure for support. This, of course, is built-in trap. More built-in trap. And that's it. So they say it's a temple. It's more like a tomb, or a repository, where you place, your sacred dead, or your knowledge dead, your scribing dead, and they're a little bit of worldly keepsakes, or knowledges. I think books would have been a better treasure in here than gold and silver and things like that. Things of an academic nature, or priestly nature, or redstone, things like that. And then of course you've got this raised vaulting here of the ceiling, which is basically what this is. So we're going to step back outside. How are we doing on sunlight? Okay, we got a little bit. Okay, we're going to switch over to spectator mode just for a minute. Oh, I used to be able to do this. All right, well, I guess not. Oh, there is something else I can do, but I'm going to do this inside. I must have done that over on the others, on the creative server. Okay, so I can do this. Oh, no. Go back and look at my commands. Look at my commands. Look at my commands. Oh, wrong one. There we go. So I'm in a spectator mode. Okay, and we're just going in spectator mode enough to come up here and look at the top of the roof here, the ceiling. So, I mean, here it's designed more than just having a raised just shapes. I mean, these would be this type of thing right here would be a minaret, or a torch. You would put a torches here, or some sort of light. This here would be the raised dais, a raised dais here. This is a place. This is the part right here. This is the altar. If there was to be an altar, this would be it right here. This would be it right here. This spot right here. And this is where you would come up and meditate to the sky, or to the elements, or to the sun. Or if this is a much more bloody and vicious temple, this is where you would bring the person for sacrifice up to the gods, because it's always opened up to the skies. But this leads us to the question is, how do you get up here? How do you get up to the temple in order to do this? And there's no real answer. All the temple designs are the same. There are no like stairs or anything that lead off to them. So yeah, now this is a restrained type of spectator mode, because when I go back into here, I do my command again. It immediately takes me back to where I was. So there is no using this command to jet around the world. This is a pure spectator mode meant for generalized survey. Let's go ahead and sleep. So that's the question. Is like how does the temple function? How do you utilize? How was it utilized? And this is pretty much going to be left up for our interpretation. The redstone section is very tight and it's very small down there, so it's really meant only for like one thing. Not really, you would really have to study it in order to find a way to turn it into a functioning stair that would take you deeper down, which would be kind of cool. But like we know, this is only going down. I remember how much further down does it go? One, I think it goes down. That's it. It's like 2 blocks under the earth. That's it. It's 2 more blocks down, and then that's the bottom. That is the bottom of the temple. So you're looking at 90% of the temple right here. 2 more levels down, and then that's it. So I'm going to tell you what I think as far as a layout is concerned. If this is an active temple, this needs some sort of courtyard. This is, as much as I like keeping the jungle in, is that the courtyard should be out wider. And the terrain here kind of hints at that. You can see that the ground has upheavaled around the temple, but then it sinks back down. Sinks down here, sinks down over here. Doesn't sink here. This was an actual, pretty much a hill. I mean, the whole hill was pressed right up against us. It almost seems like the ground, rose up and then just flooded against the temple, and then that was it. So, and this part stays up over here, but it's also more flat, not as high or intruding as that part of the temple. And then this part here, which kind of rose up, if you come back over, we looked at that earlier. Let's get our sword back out in case we're dealing once again with leftover creepies. Here you have high land over here, but over here, this all goes down to low land again. This is all land that is sunk down. Chicken. 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 All right. I need arrows, so unfortunately, I've got to do something about collecting chickens. So that way I can make chickens and make arrows. So not so I think what we're going to do is we're going to clear all this out. We're going to choose a certain amount of blockage that should at least be the height in diameter from the edge. So if we're looking at 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, at least 11 blocks out. There's 11. And then you got 12, 13, 14 blocks if you count the altar-like piece at the top. So 14 blocks out. If we're talking flat land, we're not talking much here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So we'd be clearing out to about here. We'd be clearing 1, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Almost, right here to this melon. And then the ground comes back down again. So if we're looking at just a 14 block radius about the temple, and then of course, once again, we'll be going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So we'd be coming right back around here again. All this. And then, of course, the forward of 14, which would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So we'd be like looking someplace out about here. So if we flatten all this out, and that's the question, is how do you want to flatten this out? Because obviously if you flatten this out and at this level, then you're like way underneath there. So you probably tear that down. That would kind of stay. This is kind of the flattening level. So this part would come up here. And the whole point is, which way is the road going? What is the path up here? The path would probably come up here, would tear up, have a shallow tearing up here, to come up here so that way it doesn't block the site, and then it'd split around to either side, and sweep you out here into the flat courtyard. And the courtyard would all be out that way, and then all this would be open, all this would be open, all this would be open. You would have your trees. You'd still have like these massive trees growing here, because that'd be kind of cool. And all this would be out, and then you would reestablish this as a courtyard. I'm probably, even though the temple's made out of cobblestone and mossy cobblestone, very nice in that age, I probably would want to go more with stone brick and cracked stone brick and mossy stone brick to help flush this out in that direction more. And then if you really wanted to, and then we'd like breach through the entire hillside here and clear it out all to whatever level the temple is over here. So we're like at 1 level, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 levels down from the flat surface up here. So if we're coming back over here, we'd be going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, almost, here we are, 10 levels down. This would be the same level as the other side of this hill at the temple. All this, and you can see this. You can see how this is all flat, and then all this would be flattened out, and all this would flatten out, and this would become a courtyard or a compound. And you could have other buildings out here, buildings that circled and supported the nature of the temple, and everything would come from the land. This is the way the pathway would be, is like the main road would lead to the temple. The temple is, of course, the central thoroughfare. So you'd have a great road that comes down here, comes down this area. You've just got all this open. You would have different buildings, priestly quarters, repositories, granaries, food centric places for making food, storing food, places for making books and incense and other things that would be important to the temple. You would have, of course, quarters and places for making cloth and the attirement for the temple. If it was major enough, then you would have larger mercantile here. But you would have probably some stoneries or pottery people in order to make the appropriate materials necessary for the veneration and the functioning of the temple. If the temple is the central point, it wouldn't be in general, it wouldn't be a mercantile area. It would just be it would be a self-sustained little colony of the devout who are here to serve the temple. And of course, they would produce extra so that way then they could trade with things that they don't have, like iron, lapis, maybe gunpowder, certain funguses, and other things that would help that are necessary for the temple, which they can't produce themselves. And then that's what you would have here. That's what all this here would be. And you would still, it'd still come up here. The road would come up here, and then you would have this courtyard, and then the courtyard, of course, would be flat and spread on out. It'd be in the great circle that it is, and then the road would go off this way to a certain distance, and how far is unknown, but we'd probably guess if we continue this way. We can see that the land rises up, is very solid up here. And then once again, it does a massive drop. And it all depends on how big this thing would be. So, but it would definitely do a lot of clearing. This would require a lot of ground clearing, a lot of plant clearing and replanting and recultivating of the land, turning it into different things. I mean, we wouldn't want to lose the bamboo forest. Bamboo is a very useful resource. So that's the idea. That's the basic idea of kind of how or what to do with the temple. Part of the view is the fact that these windows are so short. There's no way to go up. Your ceiling is right up. The temple is very squat. This is why it doesn't seem like it's a glorious temple. This is a very aesthetic, a very Spartan temple. This is a temple that is simplistic in its design and in its functionality, which is why I don't think it's so much a temple of glory as a temple of repository of rest. It's an entombment. It's more like a tomb. It's more like I can't think of the word, but it's basically a tomb. The venerated are laid to rest down here. Their worldly possessions, minor and greater, are stored with them. Here, the priests come to, or the clergy or the devout, whatever you want to come here and venerate, meditate, perhaps meditate to gain their wisdom. So that's the idea. That is the idea. So to finish off the idea, you have the courtyard here. This would probably not be as exposed as it is. Maybe, maybe not. But what would happen is that there would be a pathway here to the ocean. Because we know that there's ships, or there were ships, there's sunken ships from times past, is that travelers, traders, ocean traders, would probably come and dock to bring goods and come to trade with goods, whatever it is. Pilgrims, maybe bring pilgrims and ferry them back and forth. Scholars and I don't want to say aesthetics, but it's not aesthetics. Back and forth, up here. So this would be a road up. This would be a clearer road than what we see here. And it would come up, and you would probably come up the rise. And as you come up the rise, you would behold, this is what you behold. This is what you're coming here for. And and then you would come up here to a rising, probably tiered platform until eventually the platform probably wouldn't come out on this side. The whole 14, maybe to 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So maybe 7. And then the stairs would come up, This would be the edge, and then the stairs would come out. So this would come out here to the 7, and then go out here another 7. Go down another 7. 1, 1, 2, 3. How many stairs out here, and that would probably get you to your 14 in your courtyard here. So this would be stairs up. You would climb and ascend. And then, of course, you would have to come around the side here, and you would have your probably something out here that would set to inspire or to awe or to tell the story. Most likely the story, representations of what the history and the focus of this is. And you would see these in other cultures, and like there's the obelisks of Egypt, the totems of the northern North American tribes, things, other carved stone and balsat and all these other things that would have different ways, so that when the people come, of conveying information, so when they come up, they understand, this is where we're at, these are the people here that are important, this is their story, this is who they are. They might even have laws embossed upon them, or basic rituals, customs, traditions, so that when people come up, they understand how they're to be respectful. There might even be minor outside is where you would have the minor little altars, minor little temples, more like what you see in Taiwan, Thailand, out there. The spirit houses, I think is what they are, where the spirit comes to inhabit in the physical world, and you leave offerings for them, little offerings, some wine, some food, sometimes a little bit of money, so that they could take it with them onto the other world. And that is what you could possibly find out here on either side. This is because this whole building here is the central point. This is the focal point. You don't live in here, you don't sleep in here, but this becomes the focal point of what's going on. Then, then after you pass the temple, then you move into the community. And the community, courtyard goes on out, spreads out into the community. Community may be on the same tier as the temple base, or it may be one or two tiers lower, because this is the apex of what everyone's here for. And these are the design ideas. That is the basics of what I'm thinking about. It's a lot of clearing. I'm kind of hesitant to do that, because once you clear out land like this, you can't put it back. And I just don't know how that's going to look. I could go over into the creative server and do this. That's what the creative server is over there. So I could go over there and just do a lot of clearing of things out and see how it would look, which I may do. I may go over to creative and do that. So that's actually probably a pretty good idea. So before I start doing any major digging, I think that's probably what I'm going to do. Is I'm going to go over to creative, figure out how to tell myself to this location, and then use my creative powers to clear this area out, kind of lay it out, get an idea of the terrain breakthrough, because I'm obviously going to have a lot of dirt and a lot of stone to go through here, but it's not very deep, because I would breach through, as we can see, it breached through on the other side. So if I flatten all this out and then lay in, then I could start laying in the stone and seeing how the levels would look and things like that. So yeah, I think I might do that. I think I might just go ahead and do that. So I'm not going to put you all through the boringness. If it does work, if it does come out, then I would come back here under normal conditions, and I would start working at it. I have an understanding of what I'm going to need. I know I'm going to need a lot of stone. So one of the things I want to do is collect up more cobblestone and take it to the community center, because I think there's some super smelters there where I can smelt cobblestone back into regular stone. And regular stone is something I'm going to need a lot of for at least laying out the main courtyard, the stairs up to the main courtyard from the ocean side, and the major road that would continue down before it peters back off into jungle. What we're going to put to the side, we're going to have it kind of open, and I've been thinking about deconstructing underwater ruins and using them to rebuild buildings out here, and then there'll be, somewhat jungle claim but somewhat useful buildings with different features and functions out there, and this will be part of my base. So I will have, like a storage place, and maybe places for creating lava for my uses, and start building some small super smelters over there to help take care of these things, and something like that. But that would be for later. This is all very long-term plan. So yeah, I think that's what I'm going to do. So that is 41 minutes of me babbling about what I'm going to do, and I think this is going to be a good stopping point. That on there. So we're going to see how this goes. Yippee-ki-yay.